All right, welcome to NFL Outdated Cover 2 series on the Kansas City Chiefs this episode, and welcoming in Billy Truelove. He is found at 1558 on Twitter. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. First of all, explain your Twitter handle for us.
So it's at 1558. So that's Patrick Mahomes 15 and Derek Thomas 58.
Ah, yes.
So I just thought it once I was messing around with the logo, I was like, oh, I'm gonna stick with this.
You got it. Yeah. And obviously Derek Thomas, just one of the all-time greats, Chiefs.
Yeah.
And obviously Mahomes is kind of in that category already, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he absolutely is considered right now probably one of the top 2-3 greatest Chiefs of all time.
So and I'm not sure if you know this, I am a Bears fan.
Yeah, I figured that much.
and so the joke is that if the Bears had selected Patrick Mahomes, that he would actually be the backup quarterback for the Bills at this moment. So
not a chance.
You would enjoy that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man,
He definitely had the talent coming out of Texas Tech, and but obviously, it's a great kind of marriage with Andy Reid and all that. But I guess right now, as we're kind of, at this part early on in the season, the Chiefs, I mean, they have a tough game coming up against the Bills. Is it time to panic for the Chiefs already?
Not yet. The season has been very weird in that, we squeaked out week 1, which we should have lost.
Right.
We come out with the win and then drop 2 games to good teams. And I don't really respect Baltimore that much.
Right.
Just being honest, I don't think they're that good. And we did whatever we wanted to that defense, but our defense right now is just it's not in a good spot. And then I think LA, I think the Chargers are legit, and Philly sucks. So I know we needed a game to reset and kind of just get winning, but I do think if we put everything together and beat Buffalo, that resets everything. It resets everything, and we are back to not losing and just getting back on track. If we lose this game, we have effectively guaranteed a wild card spot almost for us, when we will have lost the head-to-head tiebreaker to the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Bills. You having that many teams already that you're going to count on them slipping up is huge. And I just don't think Buffalo is the team that we can give that edge to. I do not want to go Buffalo in January or February.
Right. Yeah, it's so interesting that a week 5 matchup can be so pivotal. But obviously the Chiefs have had a brutal schedule. Obviously they're talented. You kind of expect them to do well, but this has been a brutal schedule. And, obviously the Bills are really kind of on the rise, and a lot of, I've got a lot of friends that are Bills fans, and some are calling this kind of the revenge game, which is weird for a week 5.
Yeah.
So it's big for them as well.
It is. And it's going to go one of 2 ways. I think there's a handful of ways it can go, but one of them is, I know a lot of people are thinking that either Buffalo is going to win this game or it's going to be a shootout. It's also possible that the real Bills team is the one that lost to Pittsburgh. They just haven't played anybody. And I would have liked to have seen Tua finish that game with Miami. I don't know if it would have done much because I'm just not a Tua guy, but I'm not impressed that you shut out Miami and then you shut out Davis Mills Texans. It's very possible we whoop the shit out of them. And
Right, right,
I do think that it may not be as likely as the shootout outcome that might happen, uh,
right.
but we could very well just whoop the shit out of them.
Well, and I guess we can kind of go into that, and we'll get back to some other stuff. But does the Chiefs defense really have what it takes to shut down the Bills? I mean, that's kind of one of the big things, right? They're really struggling.
Yeah, yeah, and right now, it kind of seems like no is as far as the ones that we are expecting to have with us Sunday night. The injury report has not gone our way through the week. We were really planning on getting back Willie Gay, getting back Frank Clark, getting back Charvarius Ward, and Rashad Fenton. It's not. We're not sure now if we're going to have Ward back. Chris Jones is now really questionable because he hasn't practiced once this week,
Oh wow,
and Willie Gay, who we were ready to bring off of the IR, is saying he's having some mental health problems.
oh wow, that's not
So
good.
it, so it's just a multitude of things that this team can't get right right now. They just can't get out of their own way. But we'll see. Hopefully, just Frank Clark coming back can do something. That all this defense really needs to do. It's I'm not really concerned about them shutting down Josh Allen. It's just that's not going to happen.
Right.
But you do just have to find games like this. It's just one big play. Tyrann Mathieu, he won all this money. This is the game that you have to find a
Oh,
Josh Allen mistake.
so is he going to be on Diggs then? Is that going to be kind of a big matchup right there, or who's going to be on Diggs?
They'll either that or they'll put L'Jarius Sneed. They could put L'Jarius Sneed on Diggs. He's a second-year guy that we really really like. And he's just been he really is kind of our star corner, if you will. Without Charvarius Ward, if we had Ward, there'd be a better chance he'd be there. But L'Jarius Sneed's gonna get the chance probably.
Because yeah, it's been interesting. Even with the Bills, you've got Emmanuel Sanders, whatever's left
Mm.
of him, kind of emerging
Yeah.
as a threat as well. And so obviously, that's a big key. But they've really been struggling with the run as well. I mean,
Yeah.
and-
It's yeah, the one major change this team has made, um, that is just different from years past with Bob Spagnuolo is now that Chris Jones is wanting to play on the outside. So he's moved from defensive tackle inside where we paid him a ton of money because of how he performed there, and now we've asked him to go do something else. It is very weird, and they've been kind of blaming it on defensive and depth problems that we just don't have anyone out there.
Mhm.
But I'm really hoping with Frank Clark coming back, Chris Jones can just stay inside because he's looked bad out there. And he's not the greatest run stopper, but he's not in, he is still a very good defensive tackle that we've now taken out of the middle. And yes, I think it just makes it easier to run on us right now.
Well, yeah, and so that'll be key, and obviously when you have Patrick Mahomes, and he's just going to get the benefit of the doubt. He's done it before, all of his flashy plays. Is he still at the top of his game?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
he leads the league in touchdowns right now. He's
Mhm.
fifth in yards, and we're talking about leads the league in touchdowns. I don't know by how many, but I know it's a few, and
Mhm.
that's with giving up 4 possessions in that Chargers game that were all moving. There's a chance that he could be at 8. If we remove some of the mistakes that this team generally make, there's a good chance he's at 20 touchdowns already.
Wow.
Really, the offense statistically is clicking like it never has before. It is very balanced and it scores at an almost 75% clip. It
Wow.
scores, which is just huge. I mean, teams are not getting very many stops on us. It hasn't looked as sexy. We're
Right.
running the ball a lot more. this new offensive line is 5 new starters. So all these guys are still trying to click. None of them played with one another last year, and 2 of them are rookies. One of them is a first-year starter who opted out last year. Yeah, that line needs its time.
So it is interesting, being a Bears fan, I've kind of been working with hearing about the scheme and everything, and a lot of the Chiefs that they've done, with Nagy and whatnot. But yeah, um, they have had all the new offensive linemen, and it does seem like they've been able to run. Obviously, it's been a good 1-2 punch between Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Darrel Williams, right?
Yeah, that the line its run blocking has picked up real quick. Its pass blocking is still was shaky, but yes, Clyde Edwards back to back 100-yard games. I like Darrell Williams. He is he's not a sexy back. He's not on a lot of fantasy rosters by any
Right,
means,
right.
but he does get some of the dirty shit that we need all the time. And a guy that I'm hoping they will move into the fold a little more as the season goes on is Jerick McKinnon, who we brought in the offseason. He
Right.
is a very nice wrinkle for this offense, and they have not really used him much yet. I think he only has a couple of receptions on the year, but I do think he can be electric with the ball in his hands.
He's been such an interesting back, going from the Vikings, and then to the Niners, and so he has been valuable when given, the opportunity.
hmm Yeah, got that big contract that
And yeah.
that San Francisco gave him. Yeah.
And with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, obviously last year he was having the issues with getting touchdowns. Like, is he kind of really taking a step forward? I mean, is Darrell Williams kind of helped him with that, or
Yeah, I mean, Darrell Williams is that is a big part of his role is helping move guys like Clyde along. Um, I don't know what was going on with him weeks 2 and 3, putting the ball on the ground twice like that. Uh, I'm not sure what's going on there. It seems like it's together, but he had not fumbled since high school. That
wow,
so
yeah,
it you just don't know, like, if the bug gets him, does he
right.
know how to stop it? But it seems like it could be shored up. But yeah, Sunday night, there just cannot be any mistakes like that. Zero mistakes.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you want to kind of get back on track, especially against a team like Buffalo. That's huge. And, obviously a big part of it is going to be, the receivers. Obviously Tyreek Hill, he's going to get his. What do you and the fan base now think of this Josh Gordon? I mean, he's looked good in practice, I hear. Is that
Yes, we're pumped. We are
really?
pumped. This all off season, this city screamed that we were going to need help at wide receiver. We are not believers in McCole Hardman. That
Oh, okay.
none of us are believers in McCole Hardman out here. I don't care what anyone on Twitter wants to say.
Right,
Um,
right.
and Demarcus Robinson and Byron Pringle couldn't start anywhere else in the league. Probably
Interesting.
they're not. I just I know I don't want to sound overly critical, and I'm sure maybe some Chiefs fans are acting like I'm going a little rough here, but they don't do anything. Byron Pringle is the second highest paid receiver on the team. He's making $2 million this year, and he is a special teams guy. But because he went to K State,
Mm,
everyone loves him and wants to baby him. But yes, Josh Gordon is absolutely what we needed. He needs to fill that Sammy Watkins role. Just
okay. Yeah.
a sure-handed dude in the right place at the right time. When Sammy was here, everything clicked jet better just because he was just a great professional wide receiver. He was. And now that there isn't anyone there filling that role, we have a lot more of these just scramble drill type situations that have to happen much more often now. And I think you see that people are seeing Patrick has had to be panicky in some of these, through some of these drives, and because that line's getting together, and I just don't think we've got the wide receiver talent. This is a high powered offense. It can't
Absolutely.
it that something that strong. It's not just because Tyreek and Travis Kelce are there. It's everything needs to click for this thing to be unstoppable, which is what the plan is. That we don't have the receivers to do it, and Josh Gordon gets us much closer.
So is he, for those who do fantasy, which I think is most of us, like, is he worth picking up then, like, for his role in the offense, or is he just gonna kind of be that, threat, that, piece, that
Yeah,
goes off when he needs to?
it's
Yeah.
it's hard. It's really hard to say. In a deeper league, maybe
Right.
stash him and see. Um, this is his first game Sunday night. We'll see. I'm looking for a couple grabs, just a couple grabs, and maybe 25-30% of the snaps. Night
Right.
one would be
Right.
nice. Just start there.
It's so interesting, when you talk about the receivers, especially Demarcus Robinson and Pringle. Um, Robinson looked good. He has looked good in the past, and obviously part of it can be Mahomes. You go to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers has made so many kind of, I don't want to say like trash receivers, but
Yeah,
mid-level
yeah,
receivers look well. I mean, look, he brought back Randall Cobb, who could do anything anywhere
yeah,
else, and now he trusts him, and that's his
yeah,
guy. And so with some of these other receivers, Mahomes kind of has made them.
yeah. And I just say, okay, Chiefs, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Like, he has gotten everything you can possibly get out of these guys.
Yeah.
He has made Demarcus Robinson look look very good, look very good, and we call him sometimes. He'll get called, East Coast, West Coast, because he just gets the ball and he doesn't. He just freaks out. He's he's horrible with the ball in his hands, and he has just done some silly things somehow that Patrick Mahomes has made him look so good. Uh, It's nuts.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, you're right. Let's see Ryan Tannehill make Demarcus Robinson and Byron Pringle
Right.
relevant at all.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, you look at Mahomes' huge, massive contract, and it's definitely worth it for what he does, off the field. I mean, I'm here in Wisconsin, and you get everyone kind of going flipping, back and forth on Rodgers, and as soon as he was going to start, you just knew that everyone was going to be on board because he's just worth that much. That quarterback that can really elevate,
Mhm.
you know those players around him, it's just you don't find it every day, and obviously as a
Yeah.
Bears fan, I know that. So,
How are your people doing, Matt Nagy?
oh, they're killing him, and the biggest thing with him, is the scheme. He is with the offensive line, and it kind of goes back to similar with the Chiefs. They do not change the scheme to the quarterback that's in there. They just kind of they do the same thing over and over again, and that's been the problem. They were been trying to fit Justin Fields into what Andy Dalton does, and then not
Mhm.
necessarily putting the lineman in the best position to be successful, and then obviously the offense is disjointed now. In you saw that in Cleveland. So
Yeah.
the hope is that he's learned something. He's not calling plays anymore, which I think is
Wow.
yeah, and that's what was needed, because um, you need a coach that's going to be a CEO. And I'm sure you've seen that in Kansas City. Obviously,
It's no,
you
it's especially at the last time we really saw it, where we saw a change help was when Andy Reid it had to be taken from Andy Reid. Matt Nagy had to start calling the plays. And we he I thought he always gave us a spark. I thought the team was quicker when when Matt was running. the show. So yeah, we're rooting for him out here. We know it's not
He
going good.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing, he was brought in to, be that offensive guru, and his offensive have not, I think the last 19, 20 times he's called the plays, 19 times they've failed to score, what is it, 18 points or something like it,
Mm.
it's just brutal.
The
Um,
team is in a weird spot. I just
it is.
I don't know. I don't know what solid coaching it would even do right now. It's such an odd roster, and the quarterback situation is so weird. And I know it's going
So
to be Justin's team.
yeah,
Yeah,
this week was a little bit disjointed as well because he came out early on in the week and said that if healthy, Andy Dalton was going to be starting, and then once other people got back in the building, then they switched, and now it's Justin Fields going forward. So yeah, so
and it's been a circus all off season
it
ever since they
has
drafted
been.
Justin Fields. Andy coming out and saying they promised
Yes,
me I'd be.
yes, yes, and you know it, these guys, they're great guys, Andy Dalton, and even Mitch Trubisky. I was at the 2019 Bears training camp, stayed, longer than anybody signing autographs for kids. Great guy, but not,
Man, that move set y'all back.
it
That
did.
one, that was the one.
So, it's been back and forth as far as coaching. Do you want to win now, or do you want to develop? And so that's the big thing, developing the quarterback. And obviously, you guys had a little bit of a different approach in Kansas City. Andy Reid had, was it a year that Mahomes started, the full year that he sat
Yeah,
behind?
he sat behind
Yep.
Alex Smith for 1 year. He got a lot of people out here don't believe that was the right move. Um, a lot of people are glad that it happened, but it was a team good enough to get into the playoffs and fail, which we've kind of expected out of Alex Smith. And a lot of people think, what if Patrick got in there maybe week 6, week 7, and and went with it.
And that's tough. That was a brutal loss to the Titans that year in the playoffs too,
Yeah.
I believe, with that.
Mhm.
So that's tough. Obviously Andy Reid has really evolved. What he got his 100th win just this past
Yeah.
week,
Yeah,
and
100th win on his second team.
and that's never happened, right? Or has it?
That's never happened. That's never happened before.
Yep. So he's really kind of evolved through the years. I remember seeing him with the Eagles and all of that, and McNabb, and his offense coordinators have really helped. And one question I think I really wanted to ask is, why hasn't Eric Bieniemy really gotten that head coaching, gig? Obviously you get Nagy and some of these others. Is he next in line, and how come he hasn't gotten that chance
I
yet?
honestly don't think he really wants one. I don't think he wants it yet.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think, and I could be way wrong. I love Eric Bieniemy, and
Hmm.
everyone loves Eric Bieniemy out here. Everyone is an EB fan.
Yeah.
My thing is this: a lot of these offensive coordinators that move on quick are a lot of times, quarterback coaches beforehand. They had their hand a little, Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy, that was their thing with us. They were with the quarterbacks.
Mhm.
Eric Bieniemy's a running backs coach. Not saying that takes anything away from him, but I think he knows this. The absolute best opportunity that he could look forward to is being the head coach in Kansas City. I
Mm.
just think that is what he needs eventually to be with a team like this. I mean, he's looking at Matt Nagy right now. He's like, I don't want none of
Mhm.
this shit. Why would I want that? Where are you going? Where's Eric going to go? Like, you're not going to go upgrade right now. It'd be a tough place to go. These guys have to. I don't know if all of them think this way,
Right.
but if you go get that head coach job too soon and fail, it's the last one.
That's what they're saying, yeah, with
That's
Nagy,
it.
like, he's kind of, like, fighting, for his,
Yeah,
coaching I mean, he'll have other assistant jobs, but you don't
that's it.
necessarily get a second
Yeah.
opportunity to be the guy. Yeah.
Head coaches that get to move from one team to another as a head coach, are generally very, very good head coaches,
You
you
know,
know?
and I don't know if it was like in the 90s where there were more retreads like that they would do that, but I don't know if they just gone away from that or what. But you see some of these coaches, like even I hear on Chicago sports radio, Dave Wanstead. He failed in
Yeah.
Chicago, and he still got
Yep.
an opportunity in Miami. I don't know if it was, yeah, I think it was the other way around. Yeah, that way. Yeah, I can remember which one was which, but so it'll be interesting. I've heard Bieniemy, floated toward USC. I don't know if he wants to go to college or not, or how
He
long.
has he has he has shrugged that off so far.
Oh, he has.
It
Okay,
doesn't sound like that is something he's gonna pursue.
I can't imagine,
Yeah.
going, doing the recruiting and whatnot, and
Yeah.
how much that takes. Speaking of coaching taking a lot, out of someone. Obviously, Andy Reid's had some health issues. How much
Mhm.
longer is he going to be coaching? And maybe Bieniemy has that opportunity eventually to step in.
I still think Andy's probably got 2, 3 more years in him. It's gonna
Okay.
be a while. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
As long as he's got Patrick, I think he wants to ride Patrick as long as he absolutely can, and why wouldn't he? It's a shame we didn't maybe get that one early year with him.
Right. Right.
One more year with Andy. But yeah, I think he's gonna roll as long as he can. I think 2, 3 more years.
Well, and he also has Travis Kelce. What really makes him elite? I mean, it obviously he's got the physical traits and everything. And you know, tell me a little bit about kind of what you see that really has kind of made him special as well.
I don't understand how he gets so open.
Hmm.
It it is unreal what he does to these guys. I can't explain it. It's just that shit he plays with. He is such a I don't want to say a showboat in a bad way because he has become one of the most mature dudes on the team. He's a leader. The
Yeah.
city loves him. That dude does
Hmm.
everything for Kansas City, but he plays with such a sense of cockiness. He wants to look good doing what he
Hmm.
does. And I think the way he plays that's what makes him what he is. I think he's never going to catch Tony Gonzalez in yards,
Right.
but I really think when it's all said and done, if Kelsey gets another ring, I know Gronk is really considered the greatest of all time, but I just think what Travis has done in such a short period of time, what yards wise, what Gronk has never done,
Yeah.
consecutive 1,000-yard years. Um, I think Travis is one of the greatest of all time for sure.
Right. And what I like is, obviously my guy from Iowa, George Kittle, has started the tight end
Yeah,
university, and I
yeah.
think that's amazing.
Him and
Obviously,
Travis started that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I just think that's amazing, what they've done, for that. And it is, the tight end didn't used to be a very, glorious position, but they've definitely kind of changed that. I mean,
yeah.
with
Especially Kittle. Man, Kittle is a different animal.
he,
He is something else.
he has made Garoppolo look amazing. Even in
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so you have those players, obviously,
He is Alex Smith is what Garoppolo was. Is what
yeah,
he was.
absolutely, absolutely. So it'll be interesting, there with Lance starting this week. But I definitely,
Yes.
am a huge Travis Kelce fan. I
Yeah.
don't end up getting him on my fantasy teams as much, but
Because he goes too early. He just goes
he
too early.
he does, he does.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's early on in the season, but where are you thinking the when all's said and done through the season? What do you think the total win prediction is going to be for you?
Man. I really think what I was expecting to be a 16-1, 15-2 team. The schedule gets, I guess I want to say it gets easier, but we still got to see Dallas. We still got to see Green Bay. We got to see the Chargers again. We
Yeah,
don't really know what's going on with Vegas. I don't think they're good, but division games just suck. They just suck. It doesn't matter. and we got to play them twice.
Yeah, that Raiders Chiefs game is always
It's
like
not like we
even
have
yep.
10 other easy games to play. So I'm thinking 12-5 is what this team better hope for at its absolute best. I think 12-5 would be we would be okay with that.
And obviously that has them in the playoffs, and will it matter, do you think, with that, if they don't have a home playoff game?
I mean, it's something we're definitely have been become accustomed to.
Right, right.
um, it is nice to have Arrowhead there, but I don't think it'll matter. I think what matters the most is losing that number one seed. And
Mhm.
now that you can't get the bye with the two seed, it's just it sucks. You know you're gonna play another game. I think that some weeks I feel like you can see the wear from all these playoff games. They Travis Kelce's played, really 6 more games in between the last 2 years that anyone else has, on the field with him has played. Uh, yeah, I think we can do it on the road, and I think what will matter the most is what this offensive line looks like after our bye week, which is
Yeah.
I think our bye week is week 12 this year, which I'm pretty excited about that it's that late if we can
Yeah.
survive between now and then. Um, yeah, I don't mind Patrick on the road. I think he's better on the road sometimes.
It's so interesting, that you have some of these athletes. Like I'm a Bulls fan growing up, Jordan. And it's easy to look back in retrospect to see, okay, he was just better. He was gonna win. But they had all those games, playoff games, and that really took a toll on him. And so the question was, if he had not gone and played baseball, would they have, won a couple more? And I don't think so, because taking the break, I think that really helps.
Yeah.
Um, but he was always kind of the favorite. You go in, you get Tiger
Hmm.
Woods, in his prime. It was always like he was,
Yep.
always the favorite. He was kind of always looming, and I almost, I equate definitely Patrick Mahomes he's in that category,
Absolutely.
with the way he's played, and just, and we started this off kind of asking about panic, he,
Yeah.
and which is weird to talk about, but I feel like he's kind of always seemed to be just one that's kind of brought calm on the team. I mean, do you guys kind of see that? Like he just can do anything. He's
Yeah.
not worried about kind of.
He it's
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's biased to say, but if he was your quarterback, anyone hearing this, you'd be saying the same thing. The dude is just the perfect quarterback as far as everything you want. You see all the shit on the field.
Mhm.
You see all that, and you see all of it on the sidelines. And then we also have a perfect civilian here in
Yes.
Kansas City. This dude runs this city. He runs 2 whole states. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying? He runs
Yeah.
Kansas and Missouri. Um, he is king out here. It's crazy. And you just you're not gonna see him in the news like Deshaun Watson. And I think what's going
Yes.
on with Deshaun Watson's a little weird because it's just I don't know. There just hasn't been enough information on it. But I'm saying we're not in that spot, and
No.
it's crazy. It is just crazy when the Chiefs have had the quarterback drought that they have had in terms of
Mhm.
superstar talent. We're
Mhm.
talking 93. Okay.
Right.
So
And
it's
that was,
crazy.
Montana, right?
Yeah. It's nuts. We are over the moon that he is just the man. And he is yeah, I just think he is in a lot like you said, yeah, he's just an extreme leader on the sidelines. The dude's game is about as bulletproof, I think, as one can you can ask for.
Yeah, and he's, obviously, gonna make those plays, on the field, that just, make everyone kinda shake their head. And obviously, sometimes there are gonna be interceptions and stuff like that,
Mhm.
off of that, but you want someone that gives you the chance. And
Yeah.
obviously, he gives the Chiefs a chance, and, you know, once they've got that Super Bowl, I think that's huge, in that kind of confidence boost that, like, yes, he can do that. He's taking the team there.
Yeah, and I think, for people that aren't Chiefs fans, that see the Patrick highlights and stuff. It's if you really sit and watch a game of his, a lot of the little things too are just insane. That they they can't just harp on every little movie. But it is just crazy. I think the way he commands, the way he is with the ball in his hand. I just feel like kind of like you said, I just look at him as this really good point guard. He can do anything he wants with the ball. I don't care. And a lot of it's magic. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And so, obviously, we're early on in the season, but kind of thinking about, what's going to happen next year. What are some needs kind of looking into next year? Obviously, line possibly, or something on the defense. What are you hearing? What they're kind of needing for next year?
Well, I mean, if you're watching us play right now, you got to think this defense is ready to just be reset. Um, what's what I think the Chiefs fans can be excited about, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, is right now we have about 30 million available next year, and that's with Frank Clark on the books. He is gone after this. He is gone after this season. I think we're going to have a lot of money that we're not really used to having. We've been having to really find ways to rob Peter to pay Paul, I think, to get these crazy big contracts. Everybody signed it. It's the salary cap is such a joke, but
Right.
the draft, the wide receiver position needs to be taken serious. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you go into free agency. We have no idea what's going to happen with Josh Gordon. Maybe even if it worked out, he's 30.
Yeah.
So it's not like we've got a long commitment out of him. Patrick is going to be here a while. We've got to work on not missing on the Debo Samuels of the world, the DK Metcalfs of the world, and finding McCole Hardman, who you just pray doesn't put the ball on the ground every time he touches it. That's a second round pick that I think Brett Veach, he's missed on a lot of these. He's missed on a lot of these picks, and we have a lot of needs in this draft. But believe it or not, pass rush is a thing that is non-existent right now. Our linebacker game, Anthony Hitchens is also gone next year. So Willie Gay, who I guess can't get his head right or his injury right, we don't know what we have with him really. And Nick Bolton is only on the field as a rookie right now because Willie Gay is hurt. Outside, it's Ben Neiman. That whole position group is one big question mark.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and in 2 second-round picks, Bolton in the second, Willie Gay in the second. These are big misses. Juan Thornhill, young star safety, can't get on the field. Dan Sorensen is the guy they're putting in favor, and the city out here, local media cannot figure it out. No one knows. It is the biggest mystery in Kansas City is why is Dan Sorensen out snapping Juan Thornhill as much as he is. It is crazy. So
Interesting.
maybe safety's a need. Corner's a need. The whole defense as a whole, you could upgrade anywhere you want.
It's so interesting. I think I heard a stat, and I don't know the exact specifics, but how well the offense, how efficient the offense is. I think was it like tops in the league in like
Mhm.
per play, per yards per play.
Yep.
And they're just amazing. But the defense is the exact opposite, the worst in the league. And the comment I think on Chicago Sports Radio was that the Chiefs are making every other team look like the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
It is so right. I mean, if you watch this team, you just have to see there is zero pass rush, and we have a secondary that's so they're having to guard these guys all day long, and they can't do it. And then we
Yeah.
can't really stop the run. It is. It's funny to watch. Like I said, Sunday night they had to find a way to make a play, and I really think what this defense needs is it needs to be play called and coached in a way that just throws the sink at Josh Allen. constantly. He's very good against the blitz, but what's the worst that can happen? Don't let these teams take 6 and 7 minutes from you in the process.
Ah, right.
Patrick's got to get the ball as many times as possible if we're gonna play like this defense. So what's the risk in trying to force the tempo of how they play? Go get him, and if it costs us, it costs us. But what it does, it just puts the ball in 15's hands. And
Mhm.
that's at the end of the day, it's not that bad of a problem. But yes, when you are bending and not breaking for 8 minutes
Mhm.
at a time, Patrick's on the sidelines.
You're right. Yeah, he really is the X factor. It's so weird that you talk about a Super Bowl contender, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, offense and defense, but when you have Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance. And, I think that's huge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do think out here though locally, we're still hoping to see Brett Veach get us something on the defensive side of the ball. Everyone lit up when Jalen Smith got released, and I know a lot of people are down on him right now, but we'll take any shot in the arm we can get. Oh man, when it seemed like Stephon Gilmore was actually going to get released, everyone wanted that move to get made as well. Yeah, we're hoping something happens before this trade deadline. We need pass rush, and I think pass rush helps everybody out the most.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I see, with Jalen Smith going here to the Packers here in the area, and obviously they say he's lost a step, and but it just goes to show you those premium positions, pass rush,
It's so hard to
how
believe. I
important they
don't
are.
understand it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
That's
this
such a
is
head
yeah,
scratcher with Jalen Smith.
it is. Well, this has been fantastic. I could probably talk all night. I definitely appreciate
Yeah,
your time.
yeah,
Um, and obviously, Billy, we can catch you on Twitter at 1558 on Twitter.
yeah.
Obviously on Twitter. Where else can everyone catch you?
Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. I try to put
Perfect.
up something every week. On YouTube, I'm not a guy that's post something every single night or 4 or 5 videos. I'm trying to preview the game
Yep.
that's coming up. I try to talk to fans from the other side and really get a clear picture and not just try to be an echo chamber of Chiefs fans. But yeah, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, this has been great. I definitely appreciate you. And this has been NFL Updated, cover 2 series on the Kansas City Chiefs. Thanks again, man. I will definitely see you on Twitter and maybe later on this season.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.